I don't understand. Is this the right spot? You sound so calm. Like one of those TV presenters.
I'm a pro, man. Doing this for years.
I've never heard any of your podcasts, unfortunately.
Why not?
Well, I don't even have speakers.
You have headphones.
But
You just download it to your iPod.
I've never downloaded anything in my life other than Adobe.
Adobe what?
The thing that you need to read stuff with.
Oh, right.
The little red
Adobe
thing, like
Reader.
it just pops up and you have to press
On your computer?
install.
Do you have a computer?
Yes, I do. It's a laptop. I don't have a actual tower. I don't even know what they're called these days. Because like Macs just have a screen.
You
Do
have
you know
a
what I mean?
Mac?
Like a massive screen. Yeah, Air.
Well, you don't need Adobe Reader.
Yeah, I do. Oh, no, sorry, it's not. It's Flash Player.
Oh, Flash Player.
Yeah.
Okay.
To
You
look
have
at the
a MacBook
websites,
Air?
for the websites.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, MacBook Air, yeah.
It was a
MacBook Air
gift.
does need Flash, but you shouldn't use it.
Why?
It ruins your battery life.
Yeah, but it doesn't damage my battery forever.
Well, you know, if your battery goes flat, it damages your battery.
But then I can't see a whole lot of websites.
Well,
It just goes blank
yeah,
because
but
I can't
it's
have
a chicken
Flash.
and the egg thing. People keep making websites because you keep using Flash. They keep making websites with Flash because you keep using Flash. If you stop using Flash, then they...
Yeah, but that's just like the vegetarian thing. Everyone thinks that if one person stops
but
eating
it's
a cow,
slowly
everyone's going to...
working.
But
Like,
it's not, because I
have,
hate beef.
I have Safari that doesn't have Flash, and I have Chrome that does have Flash. And I use Safari all the time.
I use Safari
and if
as
I,
well.
And if I want to use... If there's a flashlight that comes up that won't work, which is hardly ever, I just switch to Chrome and open it in Chrome, because Chrome has Flash built in, so you don't have to install it. Hello, and welcome to Jimmich FM. Welcome to the Amy Show, the brand new show on Jimmich FM. I have not been on air. This isn't even recording live, sorry, by the way. We're testing out my new mobile
I'm glad.
podcasting system, and I haven't got the adapter that syncs to my iPhone and sends it to the radio station yet. So,
I'm really glad.
all right, the person saying really glad is Amy,
Hello.
who I've been trying to get on the show since 2009. How many years has that been?
4.
That's a lot of...
Well, 4. Yes, but have you started this show since 2009?
This is the first recording I've done since May, I think.
Of which year?
This year, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
We've been off air. I'm actually going to put this on my old show's feed, so people who are fans of Fanging Around can listen to this. It's going to sound different because we're using different microphones, just because I'm testing this mobile podcasting kit that I'm testing out. And we've only got 2 people here. Just James, me, and Amy.
Me.
Who are you, Amy?
Amy. What do you mean? You just asked me who I am.
I should have told you before we started recording, but I can give out your Twitter address, right? Because there's no your last name on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Amy Apple. Yeah, we were meant to go to see Jazz tonight. I'm actually very depressed because that didn't work out.
So am I. Because I don't even know where that is right now.
You've never been?
Never been.
Yeah.
And one of my friends told me tonight, one of my girlfriends was saying, oh, it's awesome. It's really quirky. You can order pizza there. And I was like, yes, pizza. And now I have no idea where it is.
Yeah.
I can't believe one of my girlfriends got there before me.
I actually have an elaborate scheme about how to get a free night, like get them to host a thing for us.
Did you come up with this as you were
No, this
leaving?
is the reason I wanted to go tonight is for research for this idea.
I thought I wanted to go tonight.
Yeah, but didn't I say, have you been to the Jazz Cellar? Because I was trying to go and get you excited about it. I was manipulating you.
Oh, okay, good. That's good to know.
Yeah, so I'm trying to let it think your idea, because most of the time
So
people...
this is like
I try
Inception.
and go every year and people flake on me.
This is like Inception.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm getting used to this new microphone. It's a bit weird. It sounds really weird compared to the
What do you
studio.
mean? It sounds normal.
Yeah, but you haven't been to the normal studio, so...
Is this better than the studio? Is it sharper?
No, it sounds like you're talking to a tin can.
From your side or from me? Or what I'm hearing should be what you are hearing?
Well, I've never heard you inside the studio,
Oh, yeah.
but I've heard my own voice in the studio, and it sounds a lot better than what it sounds like with these microphones.
Oh, okay.
It does actually sound better on the recording, just through the headphones. It sounds weird from my limited testing. But how do I know you, Amy? I
Okay.
started working at a restaurant called Kayla's in late 2008. No, I've got you worried. I'm just saying you shouldn't. The reason my last
Well, maybe I should
podcast,
be
the reason my
different
last podcast stopped is because their employers found out, and under their rules of employment, they're not allowed to talk publicly about anything. So it's a long story, but Fang Around does not exist because of that.
Fang Around?
Fanging Around was the old podcast name. Now it's called The Amy Show. I'm changing it.
Oh, you're going to use my name?
Well, I don't know if you'll come back for a second episode.
Oh, so that's another manipulation because if you name it after me, obviously I'm going to come back for my show.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get you on for like 4 years.
But why would you think that I would be something that people want to listen to?
Because, well, I don't want to drive your ego any further, but
I think I have some
you're actually
crazy
one of
stories.
the few. This sounds sexist, but you're one of the few funny girls I know.
Oh, but are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing with you.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm just thinking of what we could potentially talk about.
I'm saying you should talk about everything.
No, but it's about 6 degrees of separation.
All right.
You know, and you may not know that person now. Just like last night when I introduced Gerard to Annie. And Gerard's like, oh my God, Annie, I've seen you before. And then Annie said, where? And he's like, oh, you're Angel's best friend. And he's like, what the heck? And he's like, yeah, I've seen you at Jets a few times with Melinda. And she's like, how do you even know Melinda? And Gerard's like, well, I used to be, I'm family friends with Angel. And Angel was always going running with Melinda.
Yeah.
And then I met Melinda through Angel. And now I've seen you guys in pictures together. And so, yeah, oh my God, didn't know you knew Amy.
But they saw each other in real life, right?
But Annie's never even seen him ever. Like, she's never noticed him. Whereas he's...
But they've
noticed
been
her.
in the same like room together before, I assume. She just
Jets.
She doesn't care
because they were
about
on
him.
treadmills.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe I just
that's
have
what I'm
to
saying.
maybe I just have to change the names of the people in my stories.
Yeah, isn't that what we agree? Isn't like Mr. Pumpkin Teeth we're going to talk about? Isn't there code names that you have?
Oh yeah, for some people that's just normal real life, anyways.
Yeah,
But then there are some people that don't.
that's why I
so-
thought it would be good for a podcast because you have code names for all these people.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She's slowly catching on.
But some of these code names, like the people actually know that I call them that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, Pumpkin Teeth doesn't because obviously that's a pretty derogatory one. Whereas Washington, I actually call him Washington.
Okay.
And Triangle, I call him Triangle. Except Circle, I don't.
Okay.
So
Are these PlayStation buttons?
they're people.
Circle, triangle. Do you have a square?
Well, I usually ask them what shape they want to be, if they were to be a shape. And then that sifts out.
Okay,
if
so
this
they
is a- if
they
this is a-
started off as like pillow nicknames before they became names that you would use to describe to friends.
No. So when I meet someone that I am somewhat attracted to, for instance.
Okay, so just for context for listeners, Amy has, thousands of admirers hunting her down, and she has various code names for them all. But we're trying to establish where the code names come from. What's the origin?
So generally speaking, I would ask them what shape they would be and why they would be that shape.
Yeah.
And depending on their answer and their shape, I then put them in the friend zone or maybe. And once you're in the friend zone, it's very difficult to get into
if
the
they
maybe
pick the wrong
zone.
shape, they're friend zoned for life.
It is more so the reason.
Oh, they have to give a reason for it.
Yes. So if
Okay.
it's something stupid, like just because it's whatever, then
So has anyone said like I want to be a rhombus?
that was my brother.
Oh. So you friend zoned him.
Well, my brother's not in friend
no,
zone.
we have a relationship.
No, maybe. Oh, well, we do have a relationship. It's a sibling
Alright, a sibling
relationship.
Okay. I thought we were going to get weird
Just
there
to
for a second.
define it. No, this is not Games of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Amy's a huge Game of Thrones
always a
fan.
mix there, so obviously not big enough fan because I'm getting it wrong. And I always get, it's either a Song of Ice and Fire or a Song of Fire and Ice.
I can't even. The problem is with Game of Thrones is I can't even Google any question I have about it. I can't Google because you get spoilers from the books. I'm just watching the show at the moment, so
Oh, you have not read anything.
no. But you couldn't wait for the TV series to finish, so you've started reading.
Yeah, because the TV series have
So don't tell me
already
any
changed things. I'm not going to tell you. Just it's already changed things.
Yeah. Okay. So what you say? So you're saying you have to come up with new nicknames for these people for the podcast?
Yeah, the ones that I think for the ones that know who they are.
You're gonna have to write a cheat sheet so you can keep track of them all.
No, I'm pretty good with that.
Okay.
Because there'll be scenarios.
So
Yeah.
Pumpkin Teeth doesn't know who he is. So
No.
do you want to do the first episode of the Amy Show? You could talk about him.
Pumpkin Teeth?
Yeah.
I could do.
You don't want to?
I'm just not in contact with Pumpkin Teeth at the moment. There isn't any latest.
Oh yeah, I know. This could be
Bits and
something in the past.
True. Okay.
So how'd you meet?
I met him at a club.
What kind of club? Bowls club? Cricket club?
No, a nightclub.
Yeah.
I was actually going upstairs to meet some of my friends, and then this guy came up to me and just said, "Oh, hey, you're beautiful," and I said, "Thanks." And then he said, "Can I take you out on a date?" And I said, "Sure. Here's my number." And I gave it to him.
That's how easy it was.
That's how easy it was. I just gave him a number
Why?
and went upstairs. Well, because I didn't want him to bug me.
So you gave him a real number.
I gave him.
I
I did give him my real number because I didn't see any harm in it. Because worst case scenario is that I have to sit there and have a meal with someone ugly.
And they pay for it.
Yeah. Well, that's usually the rule of dates, isn't it not?
I thought, are you a feminist? You want to pay your own way?
I'm not a feminist. I want to be a housewife.
Okay. See, this is why we have the Amy Show. Because all the other girls are feminists. And I wanted to have someone who wants to be a housewife on. As I remember, my first impression of you was talking about your wedding.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Your planned wedding. This is back in 2000,
Yeah.
either 8 or early 2009.
Yes, it's what I live for.
You had a planned wedding. You can hire out the biggest cathedral in Perth.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
But then I realised that getting a cathedral would mean I need to be Catholic.
Okay.
And I don't really want to convert from nothing to Catholic.
Why not? If you have nothing in the first place.
Because I don't really have a strong relationship with religion, I think.
Okay.
I'm open to the ideas. I enjoy listening to the stories and I sort of see them as stories. And I don't completely rule out the fact that there can be higher powers or whatever it is called above us, looking over us, creating things for us. However, to actually place so much emphasis and live your entire life in accordance to their apparent rules and regulations, I think is crazy.
But if your only goal is to get the cathedral, can't you just study all this and just learn it and live a life of lies?
But on the off chance that there is a God, and then I'm Catholic, and then I got baptized to use their cathedral, and because this God exists,
He's going to punish you.
Yeah. Although I have a bit of a theory that hell is actually the better spot to be in, but to deter everyone from getting there.
This is hell right now.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Isn't life like
Life is
insanely
great.
scary?
No. Only when you sit there on a chair.
Life is
and
great when
scare
you
me.
make it, but on a fundamental level, like it is scary.
No. The sun comes up every morning and you can see everything around
Right, but
you.
what's on the other side of the sun?
Space.
What's on the other side of space?
That's what scientists are trying to find out, right?
Yeah, but
another
they'll
galaxy.
never work out because once they get to find the end of what's on that side, then you're like, well, what's on the other side of that?
But why is it scary?
Because there's no
The
end.
unknown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
There is no
Why-
ending.
yeah, but why would
At
you
least
fear...
under the way human brains work. We just sort of, there's a big conflict between the fact that infinity is something normal, but we can't comprehend it, you know. I don't want to scare the listeners.
No,
by
I
talking
don't,
about this.
no, but I don't understand. Like, what do you mean infinity and we can't comprehend it? We obviously have comprehended it because we have given it a label.
we just block
have
it off by saying, oh, it's infinity.
Yeah, we've just
It's
labeled
infinite.
We've labeled it, yes.
Yeah, just to block it off to keep our psychology sane. But if you actually think about the infinite, that's when you start having to drink at 9 a.m. in the morning as soon as you wake up. And
Why
blow your
so?
brains out.
Because you want to wonder what's going on after and after and after and after and after and after.
Yeah, like what created it? Eventually you get to some point where someone flicked a switch.
But that would only be if someone is curious to find out the origins of something.
Yeah, if you live in complete ignorance, that's what I'm saying. If you make life what you want to make it, live in complete ignorance of the infinite, then life is cheery. But
Because
not,
you live
not
in the
everyone can
because
switch
you
that
live
part of their
in the
brain
present. That's where you are living.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the present. And I think the problem with most people is not being able to be conscious of what they are currently doing. And to actually be wondering, to be moping about the past or thinking about the past or celebrating the past or celebrating the future or thinking about the future and never realizing where they actually stand. Because instead of enjoying what you currently have, it is always striving for better. And that is what we're enculturated for, essentially.
What did you do yesterday?
From what time?
I don't know. Before you went to sleep.
Just before I went to sleep.
Amy is a bit of an insomniac, right? I should point that out. It's one of the many characters.
Just before I went to sleep.
How many hours a night did you sleep?
I require 4.
Yeah.
I had about 6 last night, so that was pretty good.
Okay. Is that a big night for you, or do you sometimes go for like 12?
To sleep?
Yeah.
No, because then I can't have 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
That would mess up my entire schedule of things that I do.
Of things you do, but not your internal body clock.
My internal body clock wakes up at 4 hours
Yeah.
because I remember about just 2 weeks ago where I thought, I'm going to go to sleep early. I don't have to get up till 8 tomorrow morning and it's 10:30 right now. I'm going to go
Right,
to sleep.
that's because you're used to it. But if you actually tried to have 8 hours sleep for a week, do you think you could achieve it?
Well, I'd be drifting in and out. I think I can achieve it. I think I can achieve most things that I really want at the best of times.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so what did you do before you went to sleep last night?
I brushed my teeth.
How do you know?
I don't know because I remember.
What's memory?
Memory. I'm not a dictionary.
Right, I'm not asking for a dictionary. I'm just saying, how do you know that what you remember is something that actually happened yesterday?
I'm trusting my.
What if this is the first day of your whole life, and
Then-
that you just had
Then it is
that memory
then it is
implanted
the-
in you?
Yes, it could be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what people. I don't know how we got onto this conversation
That's
from Mr.
fine.
Pumpkin Teeth, but yeah, that's why people get freaked out about stuff. Actually, I'm disturbed by we can't.
But even though that's the case, though, like even if someone did plant it, what's positive or negative about it? Why do we have to even label it into something? Why do you have to put an emotion towards that thought?
Oh, I mean, I agree, but some people's brains just let them go away with that. You know, it's called an existential crisis.
Oh. A crisis that exists?
No, it's just like where you don't know where existence begins and again, and people's brains get stuck, and then they have an existential crisis, and you go,
So existential crisis is like a name. It's like a title for this particular thing. Or can you reword those 2 words and be like, that's something that
It's like-
'cause something existential is something that exists.
yeah, it's like, you know, what is the meaning? But you know, it could be a broad range. People use that label to talk about a whole thing. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. What is the meaning of it? If I get this award tomorrow, what happens the next day? It just keeps going on and on. You know, and people
Okay.
freak out about,
Yes.
and that's how they get unhappy. But I'm saying, and you're right. The best way is to be completely ignorant of that and just block it out. Just say, yep, that infinite exists, but I don't need to worry about it, and just live life day to day.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
There must have been some reason where it came onto this pumpkin teeth. Let's keep going back to
I don't even remember. Maybe it didn't happen. How do you know we were talking about pumpkin teeth?
because that was kind of my concept for the Amy show. You would have a story about one of these codenamed guys every week.
Oh, okay. Sure, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although
so
maybe we should just introduce you as a character.
Oh, you asked me
Yeah.
how I met him.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about becoming Catholic to get the cathedral.
cathedral
That's
because of wedding. Because
right. Yeah. And if you
when-
felt guilty about pretending to be Catholic just to get the cathedral, in
Yes.
case
yes,
the real God actually disapproves of that.
yes, and then I said
Okay.
that. Yeah, but I have this theory that actually hell is actually better than heaven,
Yeah.
and that's
And I was like,
because some
real
people think
life is hell.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't know
That's
what's going to happen
yes,
tomorrow.
that's how we got
Yeah.
into it. Yes.
Okay.
See, just back to that little bit. The reason why I think that is usually the better thing can never hold enough for people. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to really word this at the moment. It's just popping out of my head. So hell's actually the better thing to be at. But they're trying to deter everyone from going there because if everyone's go there, all resources would be depleted. So if more people just want to go to heaven and they actually end up in heaven, then the less people go to hell, they don't actually realise what they're missing out on. It's like Elysium.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, okay.
But I get what you mean. I mean, someone's told me that there's been 100 billion humans, and so if there was a real heaven, there would be 90 billion people there, you know, minus the people who are in hell or limbo or purgatory.
Yeah. Just pretty crazy.
But what if none of that is even true?
That's true. Then I would have missed out on my cathedral, which, yeah, I think that is one part of the wedding that I have not really
so put us
thought
back
about now.
into the mind of 2008, Amy.
Yep.
You're planning this big wedding, or you just wanted to be in a big cathedral?
Big wedding.
Yeah.
Massive wedding, because just my family, I know that my parents want to invite people, and with Asian weddings you've got crazy amounts, so just doing a small like list of who I think my parents would invite, that came up to like 93, and that doesn't include my friends that I would obviously want at my wedding. So
Sorry, how
essentially
many-
it was
how many
essentially be a big 93,
Okay.
and that's just the people I
Is
know
that
my
big?
parents know. No, but that's not a big wedding. That's just my parents and
Okay.
people that they know, I think that they know, and certain like close relatives. And then after that, there's my friends that I haven't even popped into the 93. I think generally speaking, an Australian wedding is, say, your average 150, 200 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for my 18th, I had a ball that had 360 people. I would say my wedding is much more important than my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Hence, I think I would have even more people than that.
Are you still friends with all those people?
Some more acquaintances than friends, because I've hung out less and less in groups now. Whereas before, hung out in groups, and when you're part of many groups, you see many people at once instead of a one-on-one and trying to find time to fit everyone in.
So today, if you were going to decide to get married, would you do that same thing? Would you try and have a huge wedding?
Today meaning like
Yeah, if you met someone that you wanted to marry.
I would want to do that.
The
But
same
like-
wedding. It hasn't changed?
No, because I've just basically chosen my colours and certain things that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would assume so, yes.
Why get married in a church?
Because that's
Just,
what
Just
I
setting?
see that as a very cliche thing.
You like the cliche?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the cliche. I want to be able to think. Usually the cliche sometimes is what we sort of put in as a classic. And I want something as a classic because at, 10, 15 years later, I'm going to still look at it and not cringe that I got out of a Hummer in a pink short skirt Barbie doll
Do you
dress
watch
because I
My
thought that
Gypsy
was great.
Wedding, whatever it's called?
No, I've never seen that, unfortunately.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the ads and I thought,
The ads are pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. So that's not what I want.
oh.
I want to look back and still be like, wow, that was beautiful.
How did we get onto this? We're talking about how you wanted to be a housewife.
No, we're talking about pumpkin teeth.
Right. But we're talking about you wanting to be a housewife more than an independent woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But
yes.
I assume you're insanely intelligent. Like you're sort of in the middle of a master's degree.
Yes, I am. But that's not insanely intelligent.
But you keep putting it off because you don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Not really. More so, I'm putting it off to finish because as soon as I do, then my parents believe I have to find a real job. And from an Asian perspective, a real job is not in hospitality, which I thoroughly enjoy. But unfortunately, hospitality doesn't pay enough, which is probably why my parents see it as not a real job. But as long as I'm still studying, they don't see a problem in me just working in a means to an end job, which is hospitality. So, yeah, so I'm just doing like 1 unit semester. They don't actually ask what I'm doing or how I'm doing and whatnot. They just know I'm studying and know I'm working, and that's fine by them. So until I graduate my master's, then I won't have to find another real job.
Do they pay your HECS bill or?
No, that's under my name. So every year tax return, that's when I see how much I've paid off or not.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have you had to start paying
Pretty
it off?
heavy. Yeah, several years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It
hoping
sucks.
to never pay mine off.
It sucks.
I'm going to live in poverty for my whole life.
Well, essentially, I might not have to pay mine off either. If I get married.
Yeah. And get someone else to pay it off, that's what you're saying.
Well, no, because then if I don't earn anything,
All right.
why would someone else have to even pay
But
it off?
don't once you come married, your combined income gets lumped together as a couple.
That gives me even more of an incentive to get married now. I did not know
Isn't
that.
that less an incentive? Because then you
No, because someone else can pay off my debt.
All right, yeah, okay.
Because if I'm a
We're
housewife,
encouraging Amy.
if I'm a housewife, then I won't be working.
In case you've been wondering, you've been listening to the Amy Show. If you get to meet Amy, hang out with her in her car. We're recording in her car, in my carport. I'm like, we can go anywhere, and she's like, can I just come to your house?
Yeah, it would have been easier because if we chose a nice setting at night, there could be mosquitoes.
But we're in a car.
Yeah, but I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. I was thinking you were going to choose like location, like grab a rug, sit out there.
Well, this is
Pop in
my
some
well,
floodlights.
okay. The reason originally I had this grand idea of doing a road trip, a podcasting road trip, and we go to
That would be awesome.
we go to drive around towns around WA and stop at the local pub and get a pub meal and have a podcast.
Yeah.
And well, since Fang and Round fell apart, fangandraund.com,
So why did it fall apart again?
because the 3 other members were their government employees, and as a government employee, you're not allowed to talk about anything without permission from your boss.
Oh,
And he did not grant permission for us to do a podcast.
I see.
I can't really complain about it because part of the entertainment of it was people being able to talk freely. So if we were to do it again and get permission, it'd be so stale. The thing is, I can't really pressure them to them because it's not my job. They're risking it's their job, you know, and they have
Jobs.
more substantial lives than me. They have
That's because you want to live in
kids
poverty.
and de facto partners to support.
Ugh.
And we're trying to loop back to the point where we talk about a guy called Pumpkin Teeth. You met at a club.
Yes.
He just gave you a card randomly and
No.
you took it hoping to
No,
get
no,
a
no.
free meal.
No, he came up to me and asked me for my number, and I gave him my number without really thinking, anyways. But essentially, I thought after I gave the number, worst case scenario, it would just mean I have a meal with a really ugly person.
He was ugly.
No, I said worst case scenario. This isn't a club. This was walking upstairs. I was rushing to find my friends. I was already late.
Oh, so you
this
didn't
random
even
human
see
being.
him long enough to judge how
No.
ugly he was.
Yeah, no.
And you could...
No, he just came up to me. This human being next to me was saying, "Hey, you look beautiful." I said, "Yes, thanks," as a very generic reflex, even if you call it.
Yeah.
And then he said, "I really want to take you out on a date." And I said, "Great, here's my number." Popped it in his phone, and I was like, "See you later." I did see him during in the course of the evening later on when he tried to dance with me and asked if I wanted a drink. In which I then said to him, "Well, I gave you my number. I'm with my friends right now and I'm going to dance with my friends. So maybe you can just give me a call later on and then we can catch up then. I can't even hear you right now." And he said, "Okay."
Cold.
What do you mean?
And he still called you.
You got a number. He texted me.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, guys just want the pee.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, he didn't even have to buy me a drink to get my number. Usually men could be spending hundreds of dollars on these girls and their friends and a vodka shot here and there and not even get anything at the end of the day because they're all just teasing. Whereas I actually just gave him a number free of charge.
What does a number even mean these days?
It's just a contact.
So what happened then? Did he call you? Or
No, he
text you?
texted me. He texted me, we went for breakfast.
When? What was the cooling off period?
He texted me that day. I think perhaps...
The next day? Or that night?
Well, because it was a Saturday midnight-ish time. It's really just whichever way you want it. It was Sunday. I'm pretty sure it was Sunday.
Oh, right. You mean technically, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it may have been like
And he asked you for breakfast that morning?
a week. No. I didn't see him till another week or two.
Why breakfast? Did he ask for breakfast?
No, I chose breakfast
You
because
chose
of my
breakfast.
job.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay,
easier.
that's right.
And he didn't really recognise me because I had different coloured hair.
What colour hair did you have?
When I met him, I had blonde hair.
How long ago was this? You had blonde hair.
I had blonde
I've never
hair.
seen you with blonde hair.
Oh, it's amazing.
So when was this? Before I knew you?
No,
Oh, this is recent.
this is Yeah, not recent. After I met you, definitely.
No, I mean, like, was this like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 months ago?
A year and a half possibly, because
Okay.
Pumpkin Teeth hasn't got me. Maybe about a year ago.
She actually had real blonde hair.
He hasn't got me real in an existential sense.
Like, you coloured it?
No, it was a wig.
Oh, okay.
But most
And you
of
wore it all the time?
for a month I did.
Okay. How'd that work out?
Good. It was fun. It was really fun.
What's wearing a wig like?
It's just like wearing a hat.
No, but is it comfortable?
Yeah.
Does it get
Yeah.
sweaty? I mean, girls don't sweat as much as guys.
No, only if you do sports in it, obviously.
I don't like
then it'll
wearing
be the same
beanies
thing.
because my head gets too hot. And I'm like, I'm sure I can handle a wig.
Yeah, I think girls get used to it because
Although I'd love to be able to change my hair every day. Hairstyle. Like,
Yeah, it's fun. Because then I don't have to do anything. It's beautifully curled and it just looks amazing.
do you still have it?
I still have it. It's actually on one of my license photos.
They let you wear a wig?
Well, they didn't know it's a
They
wig.
didn't question
They're
it?
not going to question it. Like, imagine if it was a cancer patient.
Okay.
Unless everyone was told to be bald for their license photos, make it even. But it would be really
And that's
unfair.
one cool thing about cancer, right? Getting to wear wigs.
Would you get it? Do you think it would be subsidised?
The wig?
Yeah, by
But depends on
government.
your private
Like, as
health
in,
insurance.
like tax.
Probably not Medicare. Maybe your private health insurance might.
Yeah. Might look into that. Interesting.
I'm looking forward to getting cancer. It's going to be exciting.
Well, I actually think I may have a bit of cancer on me at the moment, so I'm freaking
Really?
out. I need to see the doctor.
Are you having existential crisis right now? Or do you always have?
Oh no, the light's not working. No, I don't always, but see that dot? That dark dot?
Oh, yeah.
I swear I never saw that before. And because it's not asymmetrical,
Well, they can probably just burn that off.
I'm a bit worried. Well, I need to get checked out. Apparently I need to get something like a colonoscopy or something. Or a biopsy. I can't remember one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you do, but, I mean, my dad gets stuff burned off him all the time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if it is cancerous, they have to check through your whole body to see if it's spread anywhere else. Whereas warts and things like that, they can just burn off with liquid nitrogen.
Well, I thought they would be able to tell just from that, because that's like a,
Like a little mole.
yeah.
I know, but they would have to, like, look at it all the time to know if it's grown or not.
Yeah.
Which I was comparing it before to the eye in one of my tubes of toothpaste.
I
'cause
don't
it
know.
said sensitive
I
on
get
it.
freckles. I assume do you get freckles?
I get lots of freckles. I hate freckles. I'm an Asian with freckles, which is what the hell?
I can't even tell. Or is it just makeup and blending?
Makeup. I have like 2 inches of makeup on.
Oh, really? All the time?
No, not when I go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Don't want it clogging my pores when I'm sleeping. I hate freckles. I normally get IPL done, but lately I've been
IPL?
financially IPL, impulse, intense pulse light.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a laser treatment. So you can do 2 things depending on how they do the settings, obviously. For hair removal, like hair reduction, or for like pigmentation and photo rejuvenation. So I get that done on my face to essentially lighten the freckles on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I use sunscreen religiously.
I thought like freckles were like a big deal in Asians. Like, you're lucky to have them.
Negative.
Oh, okay.
Asians generally want to be pale. I don't want to be pale because I'm not one of those Asians. But most Asians want to be pale. That's why you see all
Amy
those
is Asian, by the way.
creams.
I can't tell if people know this because I don't even think of her as Asian.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't think I sound very Asian.
Do you have an Asian name?
Yes, I do. A Cantonese name.
You have a Cantonese. No, I mean an
Well,
Asian
it's
accent.
a Chinese name. Yeah, I can speak Asian language.
Right, yeah.
Yes, I speak Cantonese.
But can people tell just by listening that you're Asian?
Uh,
That's what I want to know.
If-
Write
if-
us in.
if I speak...
James@jimmishfm.com.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you need someone else to say that. I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah.
Oops. Freckles. Horrible.
Are you worried about getting
Freckles.
cancer?
I'm not worried about getting cancer.
What would you
I'm just
do
vain.
if you had 3 months to live?
I would try and increase all my credit cards. Go travelling.
Try and increase. Oh, okay.
The limit on all my credit
Yeah,
cards. Travel.
Where?
To
bills.
Europe. To Antarctica is a place I've really wanted to go to.
Alright, me too.
I just want to knock off as many countries as I can to see things and eat Lots of food.
What would you do in Antarctica?
I just want to say I've been there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Apparently it's really smelly. I just want to see what it looks like.
I've wanted to work there. You know, apparently if you stay there for like more than 6 months as a guy, you can't have male children again.
Why?
Or at least you can't have male children for the next year or so. I don't know.
Why is that? Does it do something to the genetics of your sperm?
I think because, I think so. It basically, your body sort of goes into a survival mode and it says we need to produce more females. You know, something like that. That's what I heard on the ABC anyway.
Maybe we should do like a first recording next time.
Why not?
This is being a test run.
Yeah, well, I don't have notes or anything, but I feel it's honest. It's an adventure. It's exploring. It's meant to be natural. Like, people fall asleep listening to this, so they don't want to hear too many edits. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up. We'll find out what happened with pumpkin teeth. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks for joining the Amy Show.
Thank you.
You can find Amy on Twitter as Amy Apple.
Yeah.
You can find me as the guy called Tom, all one word. We'll catch you next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.